exhibition Brutal and Beautiful takes its name from the term New Brutalism, a style coined by Alison and Peter Smithson in 1953. Their phrase stood not for chunky concrete, but for the use of natural materials honestly expressed, as was first seen in this house for the engineer Derek Sugden and his wife Jean. Derek still lives here today.
I met the Smithsons through working with them. They were an extraordinary couple. They were moving away from what you might call a Miesian approach to building and design. The Smithsons wanted to change the world in a particular way, and they were somewhat more philosophical about it than most architects I met. They'd thought about many facets of it that were not the facets that most architects talked about. They were exploring their own ideas. I asked him to design me an ordinary house. I didn't mean ordinary in the semi-detached way, but I meant I didn't want one of these steel and glass houses. I wanted something that was basic and ordinary, and I think he responded to that. It was much more difficult to design a house than design a factory. A house covered everything: living together, loving together, eating together, arguing together, everything under the sun. Jean wanted the house accessible to the garden. We asked for 4 bedrooms, and she wanted a playroom and a north-facing kitchen. Jean and I never wrote anything down. We've appointed these architects, and we must leave them to come up with a design from this basic, simple brief we gave them. He had produced something which we said marvellous in every way. I've slowly come round to the idea of listing, but I think it should be very carefully applied. I'm very pleased that it's listed.
Yet style was not the prime consideration of most post-war architecture. More important was its response to a building's function, seen in its planning and use of natural light. This is Lansbury Lawrence School, built in 1950 for the Festival of Britain, with tiles by Peggy Angus. This gentle architecture answered the needs of its clients. So many of us grew up with it that it is easy to take for granted, yet much is fast disappearing. By 1960, tastes were moving from functionalism towards bigger buildings and still more concrete. 60s architecture is so often associated with tower blocks that the name Brutalism can seem appropriate.
Very ugly. Is it really? Listed as what? The most ugliest building about?
No, it's quite
Need to be knocked down. That's beautiful. Are you having a laugh?
Balfron Tower has beautifully detailed concrete and a really clever plan with a separate lift tower to keep the noisy parts of the block away from the flats. This was a particular architecture for ambitious times gripped by a fervour for change. Whatever style you call it, the results are unique and have a heroic beauty that sets them apart from the architecture of any other era.